6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey! That's a brilliant welcome. Thank you very much. You can all now spin round. Hello to everybody watching in your classrooms. How are you? Welcome to the Demon Headmaster event. We're going to meet Gillian Cross very soon. She's a genius. What is she? A genius! She is. So our friends at Oxford University Press have organised today, and we're going to be talking about my favourite series of books. Now, it was written over 30 years ago, and there's now a brand new book in the series called The Demon Headmaster, Total Control. Now, once you've read it, you will never forget it. And why? Well, it's just about one of the strangest stories you've ever heard, and it follows Lizzie on her first day at a new school. And when she arrives, everything's a bit odd. Hands up if you think your school's a bit odd. I can't see your hands, but you can still put them up if you're watching as well in your classrooms. I'm sure there are lots in the air. Why do we think our school's a bit odd? Well, this school in particular is odd because it's a strange school, because everyone's doing the same thing at the same time. Everyone has perfect hair. Everyone has perfect uniforms. And strangest of all, perfect behaviour. When does that happen in a school? Does it happen in your schools? Yeah. Does it happen in your schools? I'm sure it doesn't. Now, I've got to say that one of my favourite parts about the Demon Headmaster is not knowing what's going to come next. And Gillian Cross is an expert when it comes to writing books, so that you just don't know what's going to happen, which is why you keep reading. So I thought I'd read a little bit here, which is where Lizzie meets the Demon Headmaster. Lizzie Warren, you are a troublemaker, said the voice. I'm not, Lizzie said. I've never... Silence! The sound boomed through the empty air, almost deafening them. You are a troublemaker. Last term, you were almost excluded for fighting another student. I had to do it, Lizzie said fiercely. Blake kept bullying Tyler. I couldn't let him... The voice interrupted again, and this time it was hard and cold, like ice. Do not waste time making excuses. Stop talking and listen to me. Tyler started shaking, and Lizzie put her arm round him. It's okay, she whispered. Tyler didn't answer. He just turned very pale and pointed across the room. The air next to the desk had suddenly started shimmering. It was only a small patch at first, a tiny disturbance, so small it was hardly visible, but it began to spread, growing slowly larger and brighter, thickening and changing colour. Gradually, a shape formed in front of them, appearing out of thin air. They found themselves looking at a tall man in dark glasses. He was dressed in black from head to foot, but his hair and his skin were very pale, as though all the colour had been drained out of them. Tyler gave a little trembling gasp. What is it? He whispered. Is he really here? I think it's a hologram, Lizzie whispered back. She could hear her voice was trembling too. You are not required to speak, the man said sharply. You are useless troublemakers, with nothing valuable to say. His eyes were still hidden, but his mouth curved into a small, tight smile. But you will not be useless for long. This school will turn you into useful members of society. He lifted a hand to take off his glasses. Look at me, both of you. Lizzie shivered. She didn't want to look, but before she could turn away, the dark glasses came off, and she found herself staring into two green eyes like deep pools of water. Deep, deep. No, she thought dizzily. I won't look. He can't make me. But she didn't finish the thought. Her mind clouded over, and everything dissolved in the depths of those cold green eyes. She was falling, falling, falling. And then her mind went blank. The author of this incredible book is here right now to tell her story and to teach you how to do it too. Everyone, a huge round of applause for Gillian Cross. Hi, Gillian. Welcome to the show. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
So how are you? How have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, And I've been meditating my next book.
Have you now, which we're going to talk about in a bit. Now, I have to tell you, The Demon Headmaster is one of my favourite all-time stories, and it has to be because of him, the man himself. Now, I did a show on CBBC about 15 years ago when we first met, and I actually met the Demon Headmaster, and he was more terrifying in real life. Now, this is because you have an amazing brain that can do this when you're reading a book. How do you bring your characters to life, and when did you first get the idea for the Demon Headmaster?
I first got the idea because one of my daughters nagged me. She was about 10, and she said, "Why don't you write a book about a wicked headmaster?" And I said, "Well, I will one day." Do your parents say one day when they mean no? I hate people telling me what to write, but she went on and on and on. And in the end, I thought, I'm going to have to do this. So I got some paper and I picked up my pen and I thought, oh, but how can a headmaster be wicked? Why wouldn't all the children go home and tell their families? There's no way he can get away with it. Unless there's a way he can send the children home at the end of the day saying, I think the headmaster is a marvellous man and this is the best school I've ever been to. And the moment I thought that, I saw what he had to do. What did he have to do?
Use those eyes of his.
And hypnotise them. And that's when I got the idea.
Now, the story was written 30 years ago, even though you're only in your 30s now.
Of course.
So can you tell us, have schools changed much in that time?
I think they've changed quite a lot. Yeah, I think there's loads more pressure now on children and on teachers to be perfect, to try harder, to do more, to be absolutely perfect. And there's also lots more technology in schools. You know, when I wrote the first book, I don't think a single school in the country had a computer or any other of that kind of technology. So loads of change, yes.
So let's talk about Hazelbrook Academy. You're going to read a bit for us, aren't you? Tell us just that.
I'm going to read you the bit, a bit before the bit that, that Barney's just read you. It's when Lizzie and Tyler first walk into the school, the very changed school, and they're met by Blake. Now, Blake is a big boy, and he used to be the bully that bullied Tyler, but he's very changed. He's very polite. He's a welcomer. Please follow me, Blake said. The headmaster's office is this way. He started down the corridor, and Lizzie and Tyler turned to follow him. But they'd only taken a couple of steps when there was a strange whirring noise behind them, and looking over her shoulder, Lizzie saw a small sky blue shape hovering in the air. It was high up near the ceiling and it had spindly black legs and a round bright spot at the front like a single gleaming eye. For one horrible moment she thought it was a giant insect, and then it moved towards them. It's a machine, she said. Blake glanced back and nodded. The headmaster's eyes are everywhere, he said. The headmaster's eyes? Tyler stared at him. What do you mean? Blake pointed up at the little blue machine. Those are a key part of school security, he said. They monitor behaviour and ensure that pupils are obedient and safe at all times. Lizzie shivered. You mean they're spy drones, she said. Amazing. So that's what the headmaster, one of the things he does with technology.
It's fantastic. One of my favourite things about the way you write books is that you just can't put it down. You have to read what's happening next. But the setting is also really important as well, isn't it? It's about where you set your story. So we thought, because there might be some budding writers in the audience here today, I'm guessing, show of hands, any budding writers? Who wants to be a writer? You earn fortunes, you get to live in big mansions if you... Yeah? So if we want to pick some settings, what do we do? How do we start? Any top tips?
So you can have any kind of setting. You can have a real place that you know well. You can have a place you've read about and never been to. I've often written books set in places I've never been. Or you can have a place you've made up. The important thing is you must be able to imagine it so clearly. You can't just see it. You can hear all the sounds. You know what it smells like. You know how if you walk into a place that often has a distinctive smell, you must be absolutely there in your mind. And then it's quite good if there's something special about it that makes it not like other places.
And that's down to you to decide, isn't it? So I have a bit of a challenge for you. In this envelope here are some settings that have been cut up and put in here. If you put your hand in and pick one out, do you think you could find a setting and then turn it into something exciting?
Shall I have a go?
I think you should.
Yeah. Okay.
So first setting is...
The museum.
Okay, so what do you do with the museum? How do you
Well,
make it more exciting?
I know. So there are lots of different kinds of museums, aren't there? And some of them have got lots of things in. But the one I thought of straight away was one I found in a little town in France. It was a pram museum. Just had lots of different kinds of very old prams. So suppose you went into that museum and you were walking up and down, looking at the prams and thinking, this is really boring, prams, more prams. And then suddenly, a robot baby sat up in one of the prams and started looking at you, and then in another one, and then in another one.
That would be amazing.
What would happen next?
Any ideas for settings in the audience? Who's got an idea for where a story could be set? We'll see if we can make it more exciting.
Have we got a microphone?
We've got microphones on the side there. There's one right down here on this third row back. Yes, mate. What's your name?
Luca.
Hello, Luca. What's your idea for a setting?
Science lab.
A science lab.
A science lab.
That's got to be great for coming up with ideas.
Oh, gosh, yes. So a science lab has lots of things bubbling and lots of strange bottles and jars. And little dishes with cultures growing in them, yes? So you could have a blob of something and just leave it there to see what happened, and then go away for the weekend. And when you came back, all sorts of strange tentacles could be growing out of it.
I had an apple like that in my drawer once at home. Okay, one more idea for a setting. Let's go to the opposite side. Yes, we've got the girl right at the back there with a purple flask.
A spaceship.
A spaceship. Brilliant idea. So how's that for a setting?
How's that for a setting? Well, I imagine this spaceship hovering over the moon, and it's been sent to look at the traces of, you know how on the moon landings they left footsteps that will never blow away, footprints, because there's no wind on the moon. So the footprints of the astronauts are there. So it's moving over the surface of the moon, and they're just checking the footprints, and then suddenly they see a footprint that isn't human in the dust of the moon, and it's this long.
It's such a pleasure to have a little moment of time in your brain space to see where it goes. A round of applause for Gillian, everyone. She's an absolute genius. So we have our setting. How about if we talk about the actual character? Because the Demon Headmaster is one of the most frightening characters I think there is in a book, apart from, Voldemort, who seems to be quite popular as well. But he's got nothing on the Demon Headmaster. If him and the Demon Headmaster had a scrap together, who do you think would win? It's got to be the Demon Headmaster. You just hypnotise him and his wand would fly away. So it's a given. So top tips for creating a sinister character. How do you make somebody like that?
Well, I think it's a mistake to give them 3 heads and long fangs and make them roar, because you know you're never going to meet a villain like that. I'd much rather invent a villain that seems almost like somebody who might be sitting just behind you. Yes, you don't know. Or might be just talking to you. So that the villain should be really kind of believable and quite close to reality, I think makes it much more sinister.
Okay, so if we had some top tips for creating a sinister character, they would be...
That's the first one.
Yes, second one?
So the second one is, a villain has to have some kind of power. You can't be scared of a villain who's kind of feeble and weak. And so it could either be an actual power, like having lots of private armies, but it could be a superpower, like being able to become invisible or being able to fly.
Or time travel, maybe. That's a good one on here, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yes. So a superpower, but it's a big mistake to give them lots of different superpowers, because then your book just gets like a jumble sale. A special superpower. And then the third thing is, you need to think, why is this character doing this? Because nobody actually thinks, I am going to be really bad and wicked and do horrible things to people. But people don't think that. They think they're being good. The worst kind of villain is somebody who thinks they're being good. So, for example, the Demon Headmaster, one of the reasons he's such a powerful villain is he just thinks the world would be better if everybody did what he said. And the way he gets them to do that is by hypnotizing them. He doesn't care what you want, but he thinks he's going to make the world a better organized place.
So if we hear everyone saying every student is a star, then we know the Demon Headmaster's
Shall I
in town,
read?
do we? Absolutely.
Yes, this is what he does. So in his school, the pressure is to be perfect, to be a star. But everybody is a star at different things. And Lizzie finds herself, to start with, being a star at being bad. She does terrible vandalism. And she's found out on the day the inspectors come. So they're in the hall, and the inspectors are on the stage. And you know how terrified teachers are of inspectors. The inspectors come in and the teachers all go, you must be really good. You must be really good, because the inspectors are here. And there's Lizzie. There's a video of her being really bad. But the headmaster isn't put out. He looks at the inspectors and he says, pupils like this are a challenge. But we can meet that challenge. Come back in a few weeks and you will find this girl transformed. She will have been moulded into a docile, obedient pupil with a skill that will make her useful for the rest of her life. Because at Hazelbrook Academy, he turned to look down the hall and the whole school finished his sentence. Every student is a star. And Ethan found himself saying the words with everyone else. Even Lizzie's little brother was saying them. Every student is a star.
So if we were all hypnotised right now, repeating those lines, let's try it after 3. Every student is a star. Do it in your best hypnotised voices. You ready? Every student is a star. Do it again one more time so we'll remember it. You ready? After 3, 1, 2, 3, go. Every student is a star. Just a top tip, you might need to remember that for later on. Now, if we were going to create our own supervillain as an audience, what would we need to do? We've got a flip chart for you there and some coloured pens, so can we have a go?
Excellent. Right, so I need you to help me because I'm going to get you to do some voting. And those of you who on the live stream, do the voting in your own schools and you can make your own supervillain. And we're going to start by thinking, so that you said how I said in the setting, you have to be able to imagine it and see it very clearly in your head. Well, it's the same with the characters. So I'm going to ask you some questions now about what this villainous headmaster will look like. And you have 1 vote for each thing. So first of all, we're going to decide on the colour of his hair. So his hair might be black, it might be grey, or it might be dyed green, okay? 1 vote each. So who votes for black hair?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Probably about 9 there.
Who votes for grey hair?
That's definitely more popular.
And who votes for dyed green hair?
Okay, that's our winner, right there. So our villain has dyed green hair.
Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, the second thing is his eyes. I think we'll choose, does he have very piercing, cold blue eyes? Or does he have brown eyes that are so dark they almost look black, so the pupils and the iris look the same colour? Or does he have supernatural purple eyes? All right, make your minds up. Ready? Ready? Who's going to vote for piercing blue eyes?
Okay.
Okay.
Not many.
Who's going to vote for very, very dark brown eyes?
Then you can see where this is going.
And who's going to vote for supernatural purple eyes?
There we have it, okay.
Purple eyes.
Green hair, purple eyes. It's a beautiful thing.
Here's the other one. This is better.
He's a very funny looking villain, isn't he?
Purple eyes, you wait. So is he starting to form in your head? Yes. So you need to know how he dresses, because how we dress when we're not in uniform tells people a bit about who we are. So is he wearing a smart dark suit with a tie? Or is he wearing a fluffy onesie? Or is he wearing a sporty tracksuit? Got it? Ready? Ready to vote? So is he wearing, first of all, a smart dark suit with a tie?
That's popular.
It is,
That's
isn't
quite
it?
a lot of people, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And how about in your classrooms? A popular one?
Is he wearing a fluffy onesie? Not so popular.
No, I think the suit is still winning there.
Is he wearing a sporty tracksuit?
It's the dark suit.
It's the dark suit.
Which I quite like.
Yes.
It gives him a little bit of a presence, a dark suit, doesn't it? You don't really know what he's going to do.
Because he's not going to be funny. He's not going to be funny like somebody in a fluffy onesie. He's going to be villainous. So one more thing, really, really important. You've got to be able not just to see your characters, but to hear them. So we need to think about his voice. And I've only got 2 choices here, okay? So is he going to speak in a robotic voice like this? Or is he going to speak in a really stern voice like this? Ready? 1 vote. Who thinks he should speak in a robotic voice? And who thinks he should speak in a really
That's a very obvious choice, an easy one to make.
A really stern voice.
So green hair, purple eyes, dark suit, and he's got a stern voice.
Oh,
there is one more thing that he needs,
oh,
isn't
yes,
there?
of course there is. I forgot. He needs, what else does he need? A superpower.
A superpower which Natalie is going to pick for us.
Oh, good.
You ready?
Come and give it a spin.
This is your moment. Okay, give it a nice big spin, please. Let's see what we've got. Super strength. A round of applause for Natalie. She takes her seat. Thank you very much, Natalie. Beautifully done. So there we go.
That's a fantastic superpower because not only can he pick up 2 children in each hand, but he can walk around the building and crush things. He could crush whole sections of the building if he has problems.
He's a scary guy. I don't want him in my school.
Scary,
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
So give yourselves a round of applause. Well done.
You've
That is
done
our
really
very first super villain. Now, I did hear some rumours. We were talking earlier on about the Demon Headmaster. Some people have actually spotted him in the area, which is slightly concerning.
He used to pop up regularly when I did school visits, but I haven't
did he?
seen him for ages. I was hoping I'd seen the last of him.
I don't think that's the case. Apparently, we've got a sighting, which I'm pretty scared
Oh, no.
about. So if he does disrupt the event, what do we need to do?
I think we need to work out a way to defeat him. And we can turn his power back on him.
Okay.
I happen to have some hypnotic glasses.
Amazing. You look cool with them on. Can I try a pair on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think that'll work?
It might do. We should get people to wear the others as well. We've got some more. We've got 5 more pairs.
Well, we've got 5 reserved seats down here, these 5 at the front. Could you come forwards for us, guys? And we're going to put some glasses on you so you can help us out with this.
If you put these on, and then there's something we all have to do as well, okay? We have to let him know straight away that he's not welcome, all right? So if you face the front, so everybody can see, we all have to chant. Are you ready? Down with the Demon Headmaster. Ready? Down with the Demon Headmaster. Is that loud enough?
Nowhere near loud enough.
No, ready? Better? Down with the Demon Headmaster. And all of you on the live stream too. Very good. So
That
sit
should do it.
down.
Thank you very much.
Be ready.
Back to your seats,
You can take your
please.
glasses off till you need them.
Thank you. Now, we did have a section where we could read a little bit for inspiration from the book if you wanted to. So we can really understand what it's like to face the Demon Headmaster head on. Just like you decided when you thought you might defeat the Demon Headmaster in your books. Does that mean there are no more books if you defeat him?
Oh, he never gets defeated forever. You can't keep a good villain down.
That's very true. Okay.
But Lizzie and her friends have to try and defeat him because he has an evil plot to get the Prime Minister to agree that he can take over all the schools in the country. So the Prime Minister is visiting to see at Hazelbrook School all the students with their amazingly different skills. And Lizzie and her friends find out, so they have to defeat him. And they're going to defeat him by making sure that
every student is a star.
Wait a minute.
that's not right.
Every student is a star.
Where is he?
Children, I hear you have been trying to defeat me. This simply won't do. I need perfect children who don't disobey the rules. In my school, every student must be a star.
Glasses on.
And you, Gillian Cross, you've been spreading lies about me for years, saying I hypnotized my students. I've never done such a thing.
Everybody, down with the Demon
Ready?
Headmaster. Ready?
Wait, what's this?
Go!
Down with the Demon Headmaster!
And again. Down with the Demon Headmaster!
I see you're ready for me this time, but I'll be back.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, see ya. Well, thank you very much. That was very easy, wasn't it?
Oh,
High fives,
it's
Gillian.
a good thing we were ready.
Isn't it just?
Yes.
Well played. So there you have it. Now you know how to defeat the Demon Headmaster whenever you meet him in your real lives, which I'm sure you will. So we've got just enough time to have a Q&A, if that's okay with you,
Yes,
Gillian, to
that's
ask you some
really
questions. We've had lots of questions that are coming from the primary schools that are watching. Thank you so much. We'll have some in here as well if there's time for it. If you want to ask a question, shoot your hand straight into the air, like this. Yeah, perfect, just like that. Okay, so here's one from Amira at Woden Primary School. Hi, Amira. What inspires you to write your books?
I just really want to know what happens. Do you find as you walk round, you start asking yourself, what if this happens? Suppose this happens? And then I just have to write the story to find out what happens next. That's the only way.
Amazing. Here's a question from Casey at Park Spring Primary. Hi, Casey. Who is your favourite character in the Demon Headmaster books?
Well, in the first 6, I think my favourite character is Dinah. I really like Ethan in this new book. But my favourite one to write about is the headmaster. He's so great to write about.
Which actually leads very nicely to this question from the Holy Family Catholic Primary School in Southport. Hi, guys. What were your head teachers like at primary school?
My head teachers were absolutely marvellous. They were the best schools in the world.
Are they here today by any chance? Are they watching? No. A question from Mariah at Woden Primary School. How long does it take you to write a new book?
It depends how long it is. So a book like this would probably take me 5 or 6 months. The longest it's ever taken me was 2 years.
Wow.
I spent 2 years because I have to write it over and over again. I would never get it right first time.
What would you say about confidence in writing? So if anybody wants to write a story, which of course we all do from time to time, what would you say is the best way to just plough on through it? Because sometimes you can write something down and go, that's rubbish, and throw it away.
Yeah.
But it might be a good idea.
I did that for years and years until somebody said, what you write always sounds like rubbish to you at some point because you wrote it yourself. What you need to do is keep going till you get to the end and then read it again and think, what are the exciting things I could do to make this better? And now I really like revising stories. I like going back and thinking, oh, I could do this, and I don't want that bit, but I could cut this bit, but this bit is really important. So the thing is not to give up on it and think that just because you've written the words on the page, you're stuck with those words.
Amazing. We've got time for just one more question here in the audience. First hand to go up. I think it was this girl down the front. We've got a microphone just coming towards you now. Thank you. What's your question?
Which is your favourite book?
My favourite book in the world that I've ever read?
No, which one?
Oh, of these?
Out of yours that you've written.
I think out of the Demon Headmaster books, it's probably the first one. But I feel quite excited about this new one at the moment as well. Yes. I like having the new characters as well.
Amazing. Okay, one more question really quickly. Yes, right there at the back.
What do you think you would write about next after this series?
What will I write about next? I don't know. That's the great thing. I really have written about lots of different things, and something will suddenly grab me. So before I wrote this new book, I wrote about an escaped wildcat in Scotland that was nothing to do with the Demon Headmaster. So afterwards, it could be anything at all. It's very exciting being a writer. You never know what's going to happen next.
Amazing. And unfortunately, that is all we've got time for today. It brings us to a nice, lovely close. Thank you so much for joining us in your classrooms, in your schools. Thank you for joining us here in the audience. Now we can wave bye to everybody and say thanks for joining us. Goodbye. See you later. Can you join me also in giving a huge round of applause for this fantastic lady, Gillian Cross, one absolute genius.
And thank you to Barney as well.
Thank you very much. Did you all enjoy that? Did you have a good time? Nice. Well, it's been very nice to have you here. Thank you for your attention and for asking all your brilliant questions and creating lovely characters. And don't forget, if you do see the Demon Headmaster, what do you say? Down with the Demon Headmaster. That's what it's all about. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye. See you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Right then, party at my house. Who's coming?